Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the Power of Attorney podcast. I am your host, LeTonya Moore. Today, I have with me Dr. Frances Richards. She is a holistic coach, a health and wellness coach. She is a podcast host. She's a motivational speaker. She's an author, but she is also the president and CEO of Arlean Richards, LLC. She is passionate about helping individuals transform from the inside out, and she believes that we should invest in our health because it is our wealth with a profitable return. She is focused on encouraging and empowering, especially women, but entrepreneurs that are over the age of 60 to live out their passion and achieve their goals. Dr. Frances Richards, welcome to Power of Attorney.
Thank you, Attorney LeTonya. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on your podcast.
This is really awesome because I am noticing, and I've been noticing this for a while, that there is, the baby boomers are awesome, right? Like the over 60 crowd is just sort of like, I'm 60, now what? And so I love the fact that you are passionate about that particular group and really helping them to understand that as long as you're here, you can still do it. And with the focus on health and wellness, because we know that that particular group tends to have high levels of things like stress, diabetes, heart disease, things of that nature. What was it that prompted you, though, to get into this space of dealing with the entrepreneur at that stage?
Attorney Moore, thank you so much for that question. I think for me, it's really a personal journey. And I just want to say that it's really about writing that next chapter. So whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, if you're a boomer, it's like, what is your legacy? What do you want to leave in terms of a legacy? And as long as you have breath in your body, it's don't ever quit. Don't you ever give up. And so for me, what excites me about just wanting to inspire those entrepreneurs or even people that inspire to write that next chapter that is a senior, that is a boomer, saying that you have so many life lessons that others want and need, so much experience. And I think for me, I love the coming together of the young and the old. I think that we all have the ability to help one another, no matter what stage or process you are in your life. And so I happen to embrace technology. I love technology, enjoy social media. And so who's in that space? A lot of young people. And for me, that aha moment was, how can I marry or collide the two things? So I think that it has given me the opportunity to stay abreast to what's happening, but also to find my voice and my space in this time of my life. And I think that when you talk about that aha moment, for me, it was, I always felt like I lived my life on someone else's terms. So when I was in the workforce, when I was younger, I always had to answer to someone, and I really could not be who I wanted to be, authentically me. And so at this stage of my life, I'm actually able to be authentically me. And so that's why I am embracing entrepreneurship and telling those that are older to embrace that.
I love that, because I know that people that I know personally that are over 60 and beyond, I have conversations and they're like, if I were your age, or keep going, and just talking about the things that they felt were not options for them at that age, whatever that age is, right? Because it depends on who they're talking to. They feel that there are so many more opportunities that are available now. And I find myself saying, well, what's the problem, right? Like, you don't have any children at home. You're not, for some, you're not raising grandchildren. And by the time that you're 60, they're usually old enough they can do for themselves. So, but I love what you said, though, about understanding that there's still a next chapter, because there are lots of people that are in that 60 and beyond. They really don't think that there's another chapter, in the sense of there's more for me to do, right? Lots of times they say, well, I've done my job, I've retired, and so there's no next phase for me. And so I love the fact that you're in that space saying, no, there is a next phase. So do you want to take advantage of that? Let me ask you something, because you mentioned something that I want us to dig into a little bit. You mentioned how you embrace technology. And lots of people, again, in that target range over 60, they're quasi-tech, like they can work their smartphone a little bit, and they can kind of get on social media. What are some resources? You may not have had to utilize those resources, just kind of knowing your background. I think you kind of was always interested in it. But what would you say to the person that's in that age group that is wanting to do their next chapter, but they realize that they have to embrace technology and they may be afraid? What would you say to that person?
I would say, first of all, start where you're at, right? And so you have the resources literally at your fingertip. And this is going to sound kind of cliche. Find your niece or nephew that you would be amazed. I have a niece, a great niece, who's 11 years old, and she's a genius with technology. And so what I did is I brought her, she's in another state, I brought her to Nevada for the summer, and I showed her something literally in 5 minutes, and she replicated what I did in terms of technology. So when I say that, it's like, look amongst your friends, in your family, your circle of influence. I'd say start there. And find a patient person, someone, and I would say, like, even a younger person, they love to feel empowered that they know something that you don't know. I would say, and I have to throw in the patience, because a lot of older people, they get extremely frustrated because they don't know the technology and they're embarrassed. And I'd say, don't be embarrassed. Listen to your gut. And if there's someone that you don't feel is patient enough, then find someone else. It is so many people that can show you what you don't know. Also, there's a lot of senior centers. AARP is very good. That is a wonderful resource. They have something called Reimagine, and they have a lot of resources out there. I'm not endorsing AARP. I'm just sharing. They have a lot of resources about reimagining your life. And I know here in Nevada, just check with a great resource too is 211. And I believe that's a national resource that you can dial 211 on your phone and ask them for any kind of, technical classes or senior meetups. That's another one. Find a meetup for seniors in tech. And let's say if you don't have one, that's a great way for you to start a club, a meetup club for seniors in tech. But the resources is out there, and trust me, when you open up your mind, you're going to find the teacher. Like they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And that is so true.
I love it. I love it. Another resource, guys, that you can also check out is your local public library. They, especially during the summer, they have so many different courses, especially if you're in an area where the libraries are being upgraded, because they want you to use the 3D printer. They want you to come and learn about these technological gadgets that are available. So lots and lots of options. The bottom line is put yourself out there, research, do your best to connect so that you can stay abreast, so that you can turn the page and go to your next chapter. Tell us some, like, 3 lessons that you have learned now that you've been in this space, this entrepreneurial space. What are 3 lessons that you have learned so far that you would like to share with other people in that age group that is considering entrepreneurship?
I want to say, first of all, that you are enough. A lot of us have been in positions and have been in opportunities that we really have not had the opportunity to soar. And I want to say this is the time of your life, really, that you can reinvent yourself, that you can do you can do a complete makeover. And I want to say that you can literally write your own chapter. This is the best time of your life, and you're living your best life. And I also want to say to you that you have the opportunity to really focus on passion. So a lot of us have not had the opportunity to say, what am I really passionate about? And I want to say to you, if there was no boundaries, there was no limits, you had all the money that you needed, you had all the resources that you needed, that it's not going to cost you a dime, what would you do? What is something that you would actually do in your life? And I want to say, this is the time to do that. Whatever it is. It might be making pillowcases, or it might be painting, selling your art. There's no limits, there's no boundaries to what it is that you can do or be at this moment in your life. And then I want to say another lesson is trust your gut. Trust your own instincts. Like, you may look, let's say you jump out there on the internet and you're going to see a lot of people that's flossing, and they're just like, I'm making $100,000, $10,000, whatever a month. Some of that is smokescreen. Don't get intimidated by anything or anyone. Just do you, be you, trust your gut, surround yourself with positive people that is going to uplift you. And I want to say, just go forward.
Awesome. Those are some fabulous lessons. Now, I want to shift just a bit, and I want to talk about your podcast. You have a fabulous podcast. I absolutely love it, guys. I'm going to let her tell you all about the podcast in the time that we have left. I want us to talk about that. So share with our listeners what your podcast is and what inspired you to start this podcast.
Oh, wow. I love this question. So it's called Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast, and we are on Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, iTunes, via my website, Dr. Frances Richards, YouTube, and also Alexa. And I know I started this backwards, and it's for a reason, because sometimes we need to live life backwards, right? And you're probably saying, why did she tell us how to listen before what it's about? And I want to say to someone that's listening, live life backwards. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you need to eat the dessert before you eat your full course meal, because sometimes